The church bells tolled like a death knell as I slammed the car door, my knuckles white on the steering wheel, tears blurring the stained glass windows I'd never see up close. "You're not family anymore, Alex. Get the hell out before you ruin everything." My father's voice echoed in my head, his face twisted in that final, unforgiving snarl from the driveway confrontation that morning. In the rearview mirror, the old Victorian house in Elmwood, Ohio, our family's anchor for 3 generations, shrank away, but it couldn't erase the groom's stolen glance from last night's rehearsal dinner, a flicker of something electric that now felt like the spark to my own undoing. I floored the accelerator, gravel spitting under the tires of my beat-up Ford Escape, the only thing I'd grabbed before fleeing. The highway stretched out like a vein pumping me away from the heart of it all. My sister Emily's wedding to that golden boy, the one who'd somehow wormed his way into our lives with his easy smile and quarterback charm. Jake Harlan. God, even his name tasted like regret. We'd met 6 months ago at the family barbecue. Him fresh off a knee surgery from his last college game. Me nursing a broken heart from the city. 1 backyard beer led to 2. Then a quiet walk by the creek where his hand brushed mine. And suddenly the humid Midwest air crackled with unspoken possibilities. But possibilities don't survive in a house built on Bible verses and buried secrets. By the time I hit the outskirts of Columbus, the radio was droning some country ballad about lost love, and I switched it off, the silence heavier than the rain starting to patter against the windshield. My phone buzzed incessantly. Mom's texts, pleading, then furious. "Come back, Alex. This is her day. Don't make it worse." As if I hadn't spent years tiptoeing around their discomfort, dating in shadows, coming out in whispers that turned to shouts. Last Christmas, after the eggnog loosened tongues, Dad had pulled me aside. "We love you, son, but this isn't us." Emily had hugged me later, whispering, "It's okay, bro. We'll figure it out." But today, when she overheard Jake and me in the garage, nothing more than a lingering goodbye hug that crossed invisible lines, her face had crumpled. "He's straight, Alex. Marrying me. What are you doing?" I pulled into a rest stop off I-71, the kind with flickering fluorescent lights and vending machines humming like judgmental ghosts. Slumping against the hood, I lit a cigarette, bad habit from my brief stint in New York, chasing dreams of graphic design gigs that never panned out. The smoke curled up, mingling with the drizzle, and I wondered if Jake even knew the bomb I just detonated. He texted me last night, "Can't wait to see you tomorrow. You've been the highlight of this whole circus." Innocent enough, or was it? That man had a way of looking at you like you were the only story worth telling. His green eyes crinkling with a mischief that hid deeper currents. We talked for hours that night by the fire pit. Him confessing the pressure of small-town expectations, the ring on his finger feeling like a noose some days. "Emily's great," he'd said. "But sometimes I wonder if life's handing me the script instead of letting me write it." I'd nodded, my own script torn to shreds by a family that saw my queerness as a plot twist they could edit out. The rain picked up, drumming on the car roof like impatient fingers, and I crushed the cigarette under my boot. No going back now. I'd drive to my aunt's in Pittsburgh, crash there for a week, maybe longer. Let the wedding unfold without me. The vows, the cake, the first dance under the stars. Let them pretend I never existed. But as I merged back onto the interstate, a call pierced the downpour. "Emily." I let it ring, guilt twisting like a knife. Voicemail pinged. "Alex, please. Dad's wrong. We need you here." Did that include Jake? Or was it just damage control? Hours blurred into a monotonous gray, the Ohio landscape giving way to Pennsylvania's rolling hills, each mile a stitch pulling me further from the fabric of my past. By dusk, I was navigating the Steel City's neon veins, Auntie's bungalow a beacon of reluctant sanctuary. She enveloped me in a hug that smelled of lavender and lasagna. No questions at first, just a mug of chamomile and a blanket on the couch. "Family's family, kiddo," she murmured, her voice gravelly from years of nursing shifts. Aunt Lena was the outlier, the one who'd left Elmwood at 18 for the mills, come out in the 80s when it could have gotten her killed. "They'll come around. Or they won't. But you're enough." That night, sleep evaded me like a bad dream. Jake's face haunted the darkness. His laugh lines, the way he'd clapped my shoulder at the barbecue, lingering just a beat too long. Was it all in my head? Projection from a guy who'd spent too many nights alone in cramped apartments, swiping through apps that promised connection but delivered ghosts? By morning, my phone was a battlefield. Deleted voicemails, blocked numbers, a single photo from the rehearsal. Me and Jake toasting with red Solo cups. Emily photobombed in the background, oblivious. I archived it, thumb tracing his smile like a talisman. Days turned to a haze. I sketched aimlessly. Urban skylines bleeding into rural churches, while Lena worked doubles, leaving me to wander Pittsburgh's bridges, the Monongahela River churning with secrets of its own. On the third day, a package arrived. No return address, just a battered envelope with my name in block letters. Inside, a pressed wildflower from the creek, and a note. Missed you at the altar. Things got complicated. Jay, my heart stuttered. Complicated? The wedding was yesterday. What the hell did that mean? I paced the creaky porch, the city hum a distant roar. Call him. Don't call him. The flower crumbled in my fist, petals scattering like confetti from a party I wasn't invited to. Finally, fingers trembling, I dialed. It rang once, twice, voicemail. Jake, it's Alex. Got your, whatever this is. Call me, please. The plea hung there, raw as an open wound. He called back at midnight, voice hushed like he was hiding in a closet. Alex, God, I'm sorry. The wedding. It didn't happen. My breath caught, the world tilting. What? Emily? She's okay. Heartbroken, but okay. Turns out, I'm the asshole here. A pause, heavy with unsaid storms. I couldn't do it. Not after you. That night by the creek, it woke something up. I spent months pretending, but when the priest asked if anyone objected, I saw your face in the empty pew. Rain lashed the windows again, mirroring the flood inside me. You ran? From my family? Laughter bubbled up, bitter and broken. Yeah. Grabbed the keys, drove like hell. I'm at a motel off 376. Can you meet me? I need to see you. To explain. I was in the car before dawn. The highway a black ribbon unspooling toward confrontation. Elmwood loomed in my mind. Not the town, but the ghosts. Dad's Bible-thumping rants, Mom's averted eyes, Emily's tentative acceptance shattered by betrayal. Jake wasn't just the groom. He was the mirror to my own hidden fractures, the man who'd made me feel seen in a family blind to colors beyond black and white. The motel was a fluorescent purgatory, neon vacancy sign buzzing like a swarm of regrets. Room 12, door ajar, light spilling like an invitation to chaos. He was there, disheveled in yesterday's tux, shirt untucked, sleeves rolled up, a half-empty whiskey bottle on the nightstand. Alex? He breathed, pulling me into an embrace that shattered the dam. Tears hot on my collarbone, his body shaking against mine. No kisses, no heat, just the raw ache of two souls colliding in the wreckage. We talked till sunrise, words tumbling like debris. Jake's confession spilled first. The arranged feel of it all, Emily's expectations clashing with his buried doubts. I love her. Like a sister, maybe. But you're the plot twist I didn't see coming. Then mine. The banishment, the flight, the flower that bridged our silence. They hate me now. For real. His hand found mine, calluses from football gloves rough against my palm. Then we start our own family. Screw theirs. But dawn brought reality's bite. A knock, furious, insistent. Emily's voice, cracked. Jake, open up. He froze, eyes wide. She followed me. I slipped to the bathroom, heart pounding, eavesdropping on the storm. You left me at the altar for him? My own brother. Sobs, accusations, the slap of truth. I was using you, to fit the mold. Alex, he makes me want to break it. She burst in then, finding me, mascara-streaked fury in her eyes. You ruined everything. But beneath it, a flicker. Hurt, yes, but understanding dawning like the light creeping through the blinds. We talked, the three of us, raw and ragged, peeling back layers of denial. Emily's tears turned to questions. Did you know? Before? I shook my head. It just happened. Jake nodded, squeezing her hand. I'm sorry. For all of it. By noon, we drove back together. Awkward convoy to Elmwood, the Victorian house a fortress of judgment. Dad met us at the door, face thunderous, Mom hovering like a shadow. What's this circus? He barked. Emily stepped forward, voice steady for the first time. It's family, Dad. Messy, real family. And Alex is part of it. Always was. The argument raged. Scriptures hurled like grenades, doors slammed like final verdicts. Jake stood with me, his presence a shield, whispering, "We've got this." But Dad's ultimatum landed like a guillotine. Choose, him or us. Emily's gasp echoed mine. Silence stretched taut as a wire. I chose truth. It's not a choice, Dad. It's who I am. Who we are. Jake echoed. And I love him. That's the vow I couldn't fake. We left that night, Emily in tow, her bags packed in quiet solidarity. Sisters stick together, she said, linking arms with me as we loaded the cars. Mom watched from the porch, tears silent, a crack in her armor. Dad? A statue, unmoving. Pittsburgh welcomed us fractured but whole. Lena's bungalow swelled with three, then a tiny apartment downtown where Jake found coaching gigs at a rec center. Emily bartended with flair, and I freelanced designs that bloomed with color. Dates were simple. Picnics by the river, hands intertwined without fear. Jake's proposal came on that same creek bank. Transplanted to a city park. Rewrite the script with me? Ring simple, silver with a rainbow inlay. The wedding was ours. Small under those string lights, Emily officiating with a grin. I now pronounce you husbands and pains in my ass. Laughter rippled, family selective. Lena beaming, a few old teammates clapping Jake's back, even Mom in the back row, her presence a quiet olive branch. Years later, back in Elmwood for Christmas. Tentative truce. Dad pulled me aside by the fire pit. I was wrong, son. Scared. But seeing you, happy. That's the real verse. No hugs. Not yet. But words like wildflowers, pressing hope. Love isn't a straight line. It's a detour through betrayals and backroads, emerging scarred but luminous. Jake and I, with Emily's fierce wingspan, built our mosaic from the shards. And in the quiet nights, his head on my chest, I knew. We'd run toward each other, not away. Always. The first months in Pittsburgh felt like exhaling after holding my breath for years. The city's bridges arched over rivers that never judged. Their steel spines a metaphor for the spines we were finally growing. Jake threw himself into coaching pee-wee football at the community center, his whistle sharp and encouraging, turning scrawny kids into teams with dreams bigger than their cleats. You're a natural. I'd tell him over takeout Thai on our fire escape, watching the skyline pulse like a heartbeat. He'd grin, that quarterback flash, and pull me close. Learned from the best. Watching you sketch those logos, turning blank pages into stories. Emily, bless her chaotic soul, dove into the bar scene with the ferocity of someone reclaiming her narrative. No more checklists, she declared one night, slamming shots at her new gig in the Strip District. I'm writing my own damn vows to myself first. She dated casually. A barista here, a musician there. But her real romance was with freedom, late-night karaoke confessions spilling over the phone to me at 2 a.m. You and Jake? Goals. But me? I'm the wild card. We laughed. The sound bridging the gap from Elmwood's suffocating symmetry to this urban sprawl where labels blurred like city lights in fog. Me? The freelance life was a grind. Pitching designs to boutique brands, tweaking fonts till my eyes crossed. But it paid the rent and let me work from coffee shops with views of the Allegheny. One gig led to another. A queer-owned bookstore's rebrand, rainbows woven into vintage typography. This captures it, the owner said, eyes misty. Hidden, but bold. Jake framed the logo on our wall, right next to Emily's first paycheck stub, a trio of triumphs. But peace is a fragile thing, easily cracked by postcards from home. Mom's arrived first, handwritten in her looping cursive. Your father misses you. The house feels empty without your sketches on the fridge. No mention of Jake, of course, but the subtext hummed. Come back alone, repent, rewrite. I showed it to him over breakfast, cereal soggy in bowls. She's trying, he said, stirring his like a cauldron of what-ifs. Give her time. Emily snorted when I forwarded the scan. Classic mom. Emotional blackmail with a side of passive aggression. Reply with a pic of us three at the pier, salt in the wound, sugar. We did, and the replies dried up. Silence from Dad. A void that echoed louder than shouts. Then, 3 months in, the call came. Not from them, but from Cousin Mark, Emily's age. The golden child who'd stayed in Elmwood to run the family hardware store. Hey, Alex. Wedding's off, but Dad's sick. Heart stuff. Docs say stress. The line crackled. Guilt static. He won't say it, but he asks about you. All of you. I hung up, world tilting. Jake found me on the balcony, staring at the river like it held cures. We go, he said simply, no questions. Emily paced, torn. He disowned you. Us. But her voice wavered. The pull of blood undeniable. We packed that night, road trip supplies, playlists of Springsteen and the Lumineers, a cooler of sandwiches like armor against the miles. The drive back was a time machine in reverse, Ohio's flatlands unspooling memories. Little league games where Jake's dad coached with a beer gut and a bark. My first crush on the neighbor boy hidden in treehouse forts. We stopped at that creek, now choked with autumn leaves, and Jake skipped stones, each plunk a punctuation. Remember? He asked, arm around my waist. First time I felt alive. I kissed his temple, the water whispering approvals. Elmwood greeted us with crisp November air, the Victorians sagging under sycamores shedding gold. Mom met us at the door, thinner, eyes red-rimmed. You came. Hugs were tentative, hers lingering on Emily, stiff on me, absent for Jake. Dad was in the den, propped on pillows, oxygen hissing like a reluctant truce. Didn't think you'd show, he grunted, gaze flicking to Jake, then away. Family business. The next days blurred into caregiving choreography. Emily cooked his favorites. Meatloaf, green beans, her chatter filling silences like mortar in cracks. I handled meds, charts in my lap like design briefs, Jake fixing leaks in the attic with quiet competence. One evening, as frost etched the windows, Dad caught my hand. That boy. He's good to you. Voice rough, vulnerable. I nodded, throat tight. The best. A pause then. I was scared. Of losing you to that world. Jake, overhearing from the hall, stepped in. This world's big enough for all of us, sir. If you'll let it. The breakthrough came slow, like dawn over the plains. Dad watched Jake coach a pickup game in the yard. Neighborhood kids drawn to his energy, and muttered, reminds me of myself, before the booze. Emily and I exchanged glances. Progress fragile as eggshell. Mom baked pies, Jake's favorite apple, and over slices at the table, stories flowed. Not sermons, but slices of life. Grandpa's war tales, Grandma's secret jazz records. She was wild, Mom admitted, smiling faint. Hid it well, but conflict simmered, bubbling over on Thanksgiving. Uncle Ray, Dad's brother, the firebrand preacher, arrived with platitudes and pamphlets. Repentance heals all, he boomed over turkey, eyes on Jake and me. Dad shifted, uncomfortable. Emily fired back. Healing's not a sermon, Uncle. It's showing up. Jake squeezed my knee under the table, steady. Ray's face purpled. You're poisoning him, boy. That lifestyle. Dad's cough cut him off sharp. Enough, Ray. They're here. That's more than I deserve. Ray stormed out, but the air shifted Dad's defense a dam breaking. Later, by the fire, he pulled Jake aside. Took guts, running that day. Guts I lacked. Jake nodded, humble. Love does that. Dad's eyes met mine then, wet. Forgive an old fool? I knelt, hug fierce. Already did. We left renewed, But the real test waited. Winter thawed to spring, Dad stronger, letters now including Jake's name. Tell that coach the Colts won, thought he'd care. Mom visited Pittsburgh, tentative tours of our apartment, cooing over Emily's art wall. Proud of you all, she whispered once, hand on my cheek. Then betrayal's shadow fell, not from family, but fracture within. Jake's old teammate, Brody, blew into town on a recruiting scout, crashing our couch with bro energy and blind spots. Beers led to bar crawls. Brody's arms slinging Jake's shoulders too familiar. Whispers of old times laced with what-ifs. I saw it in Jake's distant stares. The way he'd linger on game highlights. The ring on his finger suddenly heavy. One night, after Brody's flight out, Jake confessed over whiskey. He asked if I regretted it. The wedding. Running. My stomach nodded. Do you? Silence stretched, cruel. Sometimes. The ease of it all, fitting in, no questions. But you? You're the hard right turn worth every skid. Stung, a crack in our foundation. Arguments followed, me accusing projection, him defending ghosts. Emily mediated, her bartender wisdom sharp. Love's not a highlight reel, Jake. It's the fourth quarter when it hurts. We fought, made up in tangled sheets of forgiveness, but the seed of doubt rooted. Climax brewed that summer. A Harlan family reunion in Cleveland. Jake sighed. The ones who'd shunned him post-runaway Groom. Come, he pleaded. Show them we're solid. I agreed, armor up. The lake house buzzed with aunts, cousins, Brody smirking in the corner. Toasts turned toxic. Still playing house, Jakey? Laughter barbed. Jake tensed, hand in mine white-knuckled. I slipped out to the dock, waves lapping regret. Footsteps, Brody. He misses it, you know? The game. The glory. You're holding him back. Venom sweet. I spun, fire rising. He chose me. Deal with it. Jake overheard, storming in. Get out, Brody. That's not you talking, that's fear. Fists clenched, but words won. I'm gay, proud, and done hiding for your nostalgia. The reunion fractured, calls cut short, but Jake and I, forged stronger, walking the shore at dawn, his head on my shoulder. No more doubts, he vowed. You're my end zone. Emily's wedding came next, hers, to a quiet librarian named Sarah. Met at a book club dive. We planned it lakeside, wildflowers and string lights. Me best man with sketches for invites. Vows echoed ours. In detours and doubts, I choose you. Dad walked her, arm linked, Mom dabbing tears. Even Ray sent a card. Peace. Our life wove on. Jake's team won regionals. Emily's bar promoted to manager. My designs in galleries. Betrayals faded to footnotes. Conflicts to character. In the end, family wasn't blood's dictate, but choices embrace. Messy, mended, magnificently ours. Autumn painted Pittsburgh in fire. Leaves carpeting streets like confetti from forgotten parades. Jake and I marked our first anniversary with a drive to Fallingwater. Frank Lloyd Wright's masterpiece cantilevered over a stream, a testament to man bending nature without breaking it. Like us, he said, tracing the stone walls, his fingers then finding mine. We picnicked on the terrace, prosciutto and brie, champagne fizzing with toasts to the runaway groom and the outcast artist. To plot twists, I clinked, and he laughed, pulling me into a kiss that tasted of future pages. But beneath the romance, undercurrents stirred. Dad's health stabilized, checkups clean, but his letters turned confessional. Struggled with the bottle after your grandpa died. Thought faith fixed it. Didn't. Mom echoed in calls, voice softer. We're joining a group, for parents like us. Flag meetings in Elmwood's library basement. Awkward chairs and shared stories. There's a dad there, she said once. Lost his son to silence. Won't let that be us. Progress inching like ivy up brick. Emily thrived, her romance with Sarah deepening into shared silences over novels and coffee. She seized the footnotes, Em confided at our anniversary dinner. For of us crammed in a South Side bistro. The parts one skip in polite company. Sarah blushed, hand over Em's. We all have edits. Jake raised his glass. to unedited lives. Laughter flowed, binding us tighter than blood. Yet suspense coiled when Jake's coaching offer landed. A head spot at a high school in Akron. An hour's commute, better pay, bigger field. It's a step up, he said, eyes alight. For us, college fund. Maybe? Dreams whispered. Adoption, a family of our own. I nodded, but unease gnawed. The pull back toward Ohio's heartland, closer to Elmwood's orbit. What if it drags us into old dramas? He cupped my face. We set boundaries, like pros. We moved that winter, a cozy craftsman in Akron's historic district, bay windows framing maple trees. The team adored Jake. Underdogs turned contenders under his drills laced with life lessons. Football's not about the score. It's about the huddle. I set up a home studio, clients streaming for branding that popped with authenticity. Emily and Sarah visited weekends, turning our kitchen into a chaos of recipes and rom-com marathons. The betrayal blindsided us that spring. Dad called, voice strained. Come home. Now, it's Ray. Uncle Ray, preacher, pillar, caught in a scandal. Affair with a parishioner half his age, exposed in the local rag. Elmwood buzzed, church schism brewing. He's begging for you, Alex. Says you'll understand. The hiding, irony bitter as ash. We drove, tension thick. Jake gripped the wheel. This changes nothing for us. But doubt flickered. Ray's hypocrisy a mirror to Dad's past judgments? At the house, Ray paced the living room hollow-eyed. I preached what I couldn't live, he admitted, collapsing into a chair. Lied to save face. Lost everything. Mom brewed tea, hands shaking. Emily arrived, Sarah in tow, her presence a quiet anchor. The confrontation unfolded raw. Ray to me. You were right to run. I see that now. Dad interjected. Fierce. No one runs here. We face it. But facing meant unraveling. Ray's resignation. Family divides deepening. Jake pulled me aside in the garage. Same spot of old sins. He's you a decade ago. Trapped. Compassion warred with anger. I hugged Ray. Forgiveness a floodgate. The climax crested at Ray's farewell service. Not church, but backyard bonfire. Flames devouring old hymnals as metaphor. 50 souls gathered. Parishioners turned friends. Skeptics softened. Ray spoke, voice cracking. Grace isn't earned. It's extended. To the ones we hurt most. Eyes on me, on Jake. Applause rippled, tentative, then thunderous. Dad stood then, arm around Mom. My son. Sons. Taught me that. Alex, Jake. Thank you. Tears fell with sparks. Catharsis electric. We stayed weeks, mending. Ray crashing our Akron spare room. Therapy sessions in Cleveland where he unpacked closets of shame. You're braver than I ever was, he told Jake over beers. Coaching those kids? That's pulpit work, real sermons. Back home, emotions deepened. Jake's team made playoffs, me ringside sketching mascots mid-cheer. Emily announced engagement, Sarah's proposal over library stacks. Ring from a rare first edition. You're all invited, she beamed. Even the drama llamas. But romance's tender side shone in quiet. Jake's surprise sketch class enrollment. His clumsy lines capturing my profile. You're my muse, he whispered, charcoal-smudged fingers on my jaw. Nights tangled in sheets, not passion's fire but comfort's glow. Whispers of tomorrows, fears aired like laundry. Humanism bloomed in small acts. Volunteering at the rec center's Pride booth, Dad's card arriving with a rainbow pin. Wear it for me. Mom's visit, baking with Sarah. Stories of her own youth's stifled dreams. I wanted art school, she confessed. Chose safe. I gifted her paints. Canvases filled our guest room, abstracts fierce with color. Suspense lingered when Brody resurfaced. Email apology. Then call. Saw the news about Ray. Kinda poetic. Can I visit? Make amends? Jake hesitated, old loyalties tugging. One coffee, he decided. I waited at home. Stomach knotted, sketching storms. They met at a diner, neutral ground. Brody contrite. I was jealous. Of your guts. Jake firm. We're good. But stay in your lane. No backslide, just closure. A text to me handled. Home to you. Relief washed, trust reinforced. Summer solstice, we hosted a family fusion barbecue. Elmwood crew mingling with Pittsburgh holdouts. Ray grilling with Lena. Dad tossing footballs to Jake's players. Laughter bridged divides. Emily and Sarah dancing slow under lanterns. As dusk fell, Jake pulled me to the yard's edge. This, he said, gesturing the tapestry, is our legacy. Not blood, but built. Emotions crested then. A quiet peak. Dad's toast, glass raised. To second acts. And the loves that write them. Clinks echoed, hearts full. Yet dramas echo. A storm hit. Literal tornado warnings. Winds howling. Power out. We huddled by candlelight. Stories swapping fears. Ray admitted. Thought I'd lose my soul once. Found it in the losing. Vulnerability's bond. Unbreakable. Through it romance endured. Jake's letters in lunchboxes. Like high school sweethearts. Miss your laugh already. My designs for his team, jerseys with hidden hearts. We planned our vow renewal intimate, under falling water's gaze again. Betrayal's ghost, banished. Conflicts, compost for growth. In America's heartland sprawl, we carved humanity's shape. Flawed, fierce, forever choosing love. Winter wrapped Akron in white silence. Snow muffling the world to whispers. Our renewal vows were set for New Year's. A nod to fresh starts. Venue a quaint chapel in Cuyahoga Valley. Stone walls echoing with possibility. Invites went out hand-stamped. Wildflower motifs. RSVPs trickling in like promises kept. Emily and Sarah, honeymoon-bound to Provincetown, promised to officiate again. Rematch of the century, Em joked. Dad and Mom confirmed. Flights from Elmwood. Ray, now counseling at a queer youth center in Columbus, vowed readings from Whitman. Lena flew in, bearing moonshine and mischief. Prep was a whirlwind. Jake fretting tux fittings, me curating playlists of soul. Sam Cooke crooning, a change is gonna come. One night, doubts surfaced over cocoa by the hearth. What if they don't show? He murmured, chin on knees. The family still healing. I traced his knuckles. They will. Or we will, enough for both. His smile broke, grateful. You're my constant. The eve brought betrayal's final twist. Not malice, but mishap. A blizzard dumped feet overnight. Roads closing. Flights grounded. Calls flooded. Dad stranded at the airport. Voice crackling. Trying son. Love you. Mom's text. Stuck, but hearts with you. Ray emailed. Roads ice. Sending prayers and poetry. Emily's car spun out en route. Safe but delayed. Lena hunkered in Cleveland, cursing weather gods. Dawn broke gray. Chapel empty save for us. Sarah, miraculously local, and a handful of locals. Jake's team parents, my freelance crew. Elopement 2.0? Sarah grinned, veil askew from the drive. Panic flickered. Would absence echo abandonment? Jake's eyes met mine across the aisle. Pews sparse. Screw the crowd, he said, taking my hand. This is us. Officiant a kind deacon, borrowed we vowed anew. In storms and silences, I choose the detour with you. Rings exchanged, simple gold bands etched with creek coordinates. Kiss sealed, soft, eternal. Then, doors creaked. Emily bursting in, snow-dusted, Sarah whooping. Made it! Slid the last mile. Behind, stragglers. A plowed van disgorging Mom. Dad bundled. Ray with a thermos of holy hot toddies. Lena last, arms laden with cake. Chaos rejoiced, hugs sloppy. Tears freezing on lashes. Dad clasped Jake's shoulders. Proud to call you son. Mom pinned boutonnieres, whispering, beautiful. Ray read, I sing the body electric, the love that dare not. Laughter, applause, a huddle defying drifts. Reception in the fellowship hall. Potluck miracles, chili steaming, pies from Mom's oven express mailed. Toasts flowed, Emily's roast. From Runaway to Root Deep, here's to the Harlan O'Connors. We'd hyphenated, quietly. Jake's to family. You showed up. That's the win. Mine to him. You ran to me. I'd run forever for you. Dance floor cleared. Slow spins under disco ball snowflakes. Dad swayed with Mom. Decades distilled. Ray twirled Lena, old flames sparking. Jake and I, last song, Benny King's Stand By Me. World narrowing to his breath on my neck. Happy? He asked. Beyond. Months unfurled golden. Jake's team clinched state. Banners waving. His speech humble. These boys taught me heart over hustle. Scholarships followed, dreams funded. My gallery show in Cleveland, queer narratives in ink and pixel, sold out, Dad buying the centerpiece. Us by the creek, stylized. Hangs in the den, he said gruff. With the Bibles. Emily and Sarah's wedding. Summer blaze in a vineyard. Us groomsmen in linen. Vows mirrored. In footnotes and full chapters. Honeymoon pics flooded feeds. Beaches. Books. Bliss. Betrayals? Transmuted to teachers. Ray's center thriving. His book From Pulpit to Pride a quiet bestseller. Brody faded. A Christmas card cordial. Happily hitched myself. Cheers to truths. Conflicts resolved in circles. Family therapy in Elmwood. Virtual for us. Unpacking crates of shoulds. Climax's echo? Our own. Adoption papers approved. A boy named Riley, 5, with Jake's grin and my curiosity. First night home, chaos of crayons and questions. 2 dads? He asked, wide-eyed. Jake knelt. Yeah, buddy. Double the love. Bedtime stories wove our tales, runaways who found home. Humanism's heart pulsed in daily grace. Dad's visit, teaching Riley whittling, hands steady now. Mom's art class with Sarah, canvases shared. Emily's godmother role, spoiling with sass. Lena's annual moonshine runs, tales taller than trees. Years layered, wrinkles etching laugh lines. Riley's first game, Jake coaching, me sideline sketching plays. Wedding for him one day, we'd walk him proud. Emily's kids, towheads tumbling, calling us uncles supreme. Romance mellowed to marrow deep. Anniversaries at motels, recreating that first dawn. Jake's letters evolved to Riley's bedside. Once, I ran from fear. Now I run to joy. My designs, murals in community centers, stories of chosen kin. Ending? No tragedies tear, but humanism's hush. A backyard fire in Akron, circle-wide blood, chosen, mended. Dad, frail now, raises glass. To the family we built, from ashes always. Jake's arm around me, Riley dozing on lap. Emily strums guitar, Sarah harmonizing. Ray recites psalms reimagined. Love, American as apple pie and open roads, isn't flawless arc, betrayal scar, conflicts carve, climaxes crash. But in the quiet after, romance roots, emotions endure, humanity hums. We ran once from chains to chance. Now we stand, together unbroken, unbound. In that firelight flicker, Jake's whisper, worth every mile. And I know, yes, eternally.